Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing Magic Mike XXL. I saw the first one for the first time last night, just regular old Magic Mike. I was expecting it to be kind of exploitative, male-on-male action, but not really. It was mostly just a character movie where you kind of see, you kind of get to see where these people are from a backstory standpoint and why they happen to be doing the male stripper job in the first place and the problems that arise from doing that kind of thing, and it was pretty interesting. So I ended up enjoying it quite a lot. And to be honest, the whole male stripper stuff, you could actually write in there deeper, and not really get much of a sexual thing out of it, but that's besides the point. So for this movie, it's called Magic Mike XXL, probably not in reference to his shirt size. And the trailers are very like, this one's even sexier, guys. And yes, I'm not even entirely sure how the first movie can get a sequel. It's not one of those movies that get a sequel. It's like The Breakfast Club 2, basically. It's like, what? There's not a Breakfast Club 2, is there? But I guess people want more muscles. I don't know. I'm thinking this one's probably going to be a downgrade of some type. Which is too bad. But it's bound to happen anytime, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm gonna try and maintain my dignity when I buy tickets to Magic Mike XXL and the ticket booth. Oh no, I'm just gonna stand up proud and be like, one ticket to Magic Mike, please. I'm not gay. No, if I say that, that'll make it seem even more like I'm gay, won't it? I don't know. That would sound like I'm Mr. Garrison shouting from the hills, I'm not gay, I'm not gay. Yeah, I'll probably just draw more suspicion. I'll just walk up calmly and say, one ticket to Magic Mike. Hey, now they've seen the first one, maybe they'll think I'm there for the characters. Because the characters are interesting. I mean, at least in the first one, a lot of nudity with women as well, so I'm not feeling that bad about it. So until now. I think this movie is actually going to get a special note from me. It is the first and so far only movie that I have ever seen in theaters that's actually made me fall asleep. I'm not joking. I've had movies I'm watching in my easy chair that's late at night, like 3 in the morning, and I've fallen asleep. That's happened. It's not the movie's fault. I'm just in a very, very comfortable location, and it's late, so I'm falling asleep. Never happened in a theater. Never. It wasn't that late when I was watching this. I was watching it at 10. I've watched movies at like 1. And in the theater, I'm always engaged. I was engaged by the most boring movies you can think of. Terminator Genesis. I watched that after a convention. Like, right after a late night convention. Had to get up at like 7:30 in the morning after sleeping on a hard floor. And I stayed awake throughout the entire thing. This movie, I was falling asleep by the end. This is probably the most boring movie I have ever reviewed on this show. It is the definition of a road trip movie. Nothing happens. And they actually go on a road trip. There's no character development. We don't learn anything new about these guys. except for like one or two tidbits that are thrown out there for a split second. Everybody in here molds together and just becomes really dull. There was one scene in this movie that actually made me smile or feel an emotion, and then it was gone. And I'm thankful for that one scene, but the rest of it is so boring. Like this is basically what I assumed the first movie was. Completely exploitative, male strippers, ooh, so hot, and not much substance at all. The first movie surprised me in how little of the male stripping that was. It was used as a set piece. It was what linked all these different characters together, and it was how you grew to know them, and you grew to understand their different plights and how they ended up in this spot in life and all those interesting things. But in this movie, they all, like, this takes place much longer after the original. So much longer that it's actually confusing. And they're all just so fucking boring now. And here's the thing. Like, I watched the first movie, and I get it. These guys are all in their own little, like, strip joint. And clearly, they aren't professional because one of our main characters is introduced to this when he gets tricked into inviting people over to the club because they need people to watch the show. So they're clearly not the most popular people in town, right? They kind of stay that way. And you see that in the first movie, that they work together, but they're never quite synchronized with each other. Like when they're doing a dance move together, they're not like solid or anything. And then in this movie, for no explanation, suddenly they're fucking gods. Like, heavily super choreographed shit. And even improvised shit that looks like it was super heavily choreographed, probably because it was. And yeah, they're known all throughout the stripper-loving community all of a sudden. And I don't know if we were meant to insinuate that something happened between these two movies or what, but now everybody, like, now it's honestly as if there was a separate movie, because at the end of the first movie they're still in kind of the same place, and then I'm guessing somewhere in between here they grew to a level of fame and knew a whole bunch of people from all along the East Coast, and then by the time this movie starts they're all retired. What? What? This makes no sense. Several of the characters are missing, most likely because the actors refuse to show up, and it's really distracting, and I hate it when movies do that. Makes me wonder why make the movie if you can't get all the actors back. And, God. And here's one of the other things. Now, I am heterosexual, but I can see the entertainment value in big, bulky men just going at it as, strippers. I understand that mentality. But you know what? Even if I flip that around, and I make a fucking 2-hour movie of nothing, absolutely nothing, but women shoving their boobs at the screen, I'd get bored. Really bored. And that's what this movie is. I think even if that's all you came for, you would get sick of it by the end. It would put you off of it. It's basically a softcore porn that goes on for 2 fucking hours and is as boring as shit. And they don't actually show anything beyond chest. And at some point the guys are in thongs, of course. But that's it. I'm not even sure how this got an R rating. Maybe it was just the swearing, I guess. Like, this movie, yeah, it's toned down from the first, even though there's a lot more male stripping going on. And a lot fucking more. And not in the good way. I mean in the way of, oh man, we haven't had stripping for like a while. Let's have 15 continuous minutes of it. For no fucking reason, they go to this club, right? They're like, oh no, our truck just broke down. Like, once again, road trip movie. Our truck just broke down, how are we gonna get here? Oh, I know this person. So they go to this club, and she's like, oh, let me show you what we do here. 15 fucking minutes of nothing but male stripping over and over, fucking continuously. And by the end of it, you get so fucking bored. And then, like, at the end, of course, it seems almost pointless. The whole thing was just to set up this one character who isn't that important and isn't that interesting. But it's nothing compared to the climax. The climax of this film is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It is pretty much the pod race from The Phantom Menace. It is the male stripper version of the pod race from The Phantom Menace. Each and every one of these characters, there's 7 or 8 of these male stripper characters, get a fucking 5-minute dance sequence all to themselves at the end of this movie. 5 fucking minutes! I was just begging, oh my god, is Channing Tatum next so this movie can be over? Because, oh my god, it goes on for so fucking long and nothing's happening and there's no tension. You know what the plot of this movie is? You know, they're going to a final convention. For nostalgia reasons? No, because they think it's fun. Oh my god, there's no fucking tension at all, is there? It's not, oh, we gotta make it, we gotta make this last shot. There's a little bit of that, but they kind of brush it away for nothing. There's some loose story in here of our routines are old and they're not us, so we need to do something else. And that's probably why each and every one of them has their own separate little shtick that they do at the end. But it was a terrible directorial choice. Terrible writing choice. It makes the movie feel so fucking long. And just so terrible. And yeah, these are well choreographed too, but they feel wasted. They feel like these should have been spread out a little, or like something else, or maybe at least have some greater story around it to make it into an actual movie instead of just man meat, like for 2.5 hours or however fucking long it is. This felt like an eternity. And you know what? This movie is pissing me off in just how terrible and boring it is. I've never had this happen before. This is most likely the worst movie I have seen so far this year. Easily. Like, I can't think of something else. And you know what? This might be harsh, what I'm gonna give for the overall score. You might think it's pretty harsh. But I thought it over on my way back here, and I am confident that it is the right choice. My rules are clear for when it comes to movies. The greatest atrocity you can ever commit is to be boring, to leave no impression, to be basically something mindless to help you fall asleep. That's what kids shows do. And that is bullshit. That is not a movie. That is not something you pay $9 to see in a theater. That's not something that you pay $2 or $1 or whatever to rent at Redbox. That is not something that you download over iTunes. That is something you watch on fucking Nick Jr. And it is bullshit. So, I am actually gonna give this a first timer. First time in Dyer-Situation history where I've had to pull this score up. A 1 out of 10. Scary Movie 5 had got a 2 out of 10. Beneath the Mississippi got a 0 out of 10 because that was physically painful. This is the first ever 1 out of 10. Because it is so boring. and has nothing to offer. Not even the sexiness of male guys, because you get bored of it. You get bored of sex with this movie. Think about that. It just turned sex into something boring and repetitive. And that's a sin. You know? That's a fucking sin. This movie deserves that score more than any movie I've ever seen. I've never had a movie bore me to death so much. So much. This makes Terminator Genesis look like fucking Mad Max Fury Road. This is fucking terrible. It is a disgrace to cinema, and I hope you never have to endure this pile of crap. If you like the first movie, good for you. Watch it again. It's a good movie. Do not watch this one. And until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching A Dyer Situation.